Well, I hope you're having a very happy Sunday. So, let me introduce you to a friend of mine. So, I hope everybody's having a great day. And, it's actually a pretty nice day in Florida today. I'm at my office getting a bunch of work done. Well, thank you for the thumbs up. I so love you. So, oh, let me get my tripod in here. So, getting some stuff done. I'm listing some things. And, because I think the internet might be very good in sales here shortly. I hope it is. I'm just feeling it. Ugh. There we go. Hello there. Thank you for the thumbs up. So, I was just watching my friend on YouTube, Inspirational Nomad. And, I guess we could look at that. Ugh. I'm listing stuff. And he's leaving Jersey to go back to Florida. So, I know the feeling. It's a sad feeling. It's hard when you leave family. But he really loves Florida, and he's so much happier in Florida. It's a win for the win. It's a shame he can't get his mom to move down to Florida. She would just love it. It's much better weather for the older folks. That's a fact. But anyway, so that's a gown that I made. That's in a crushed velvet. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing wonderfully well. The weather is so good today in Florida. It's not cold and windy today, but it was cold last night. It really was. But today's much better. I might be able to get by the gym and get a shower today. That would be very nice. It was just too cold. Oh yes. I have hair down to my rear end, and it's really horrible when it's wet because it stays wet like all day long. And I'm not a big fan of blow dryers. It really trashes your hair up. So I didn't want to get deathly ill from jumping in the shower yesterday and wander around with the wind and everything with my long hair. But anyway, I hope everybody's doing so good. Hope you're having a happy Sunday. Um, I got a bunch of stuff listed this morning when I got here. And this is my room where I photograph my stock. And because it has white walls. And so I'm getting ready to photograph this one and put it online. There's no hey, was just talking about you. So good to see you, my friend. Really is. And may God bless you for today. I know this is a tough day for you. But I'm so glad to see you come back to Florida because I know that's where your heart is, my friend. I know that for a fact. Was just watching one of your vlogs there. Actually, two of them. I was at a place last night boondocking, and you can't comment on the videos because they block it. And I guess because their employees are jumping on that internet and doing weird things. So thank you. That's my friend on that thumbnail. And many years long acquired. I'll have to do a vlog about that. That's a very sentimental friend that I've missed for many years. Um, but yeah, it's a great vlog, Sam. Very nice. Very nice. And I hope you enjoy getting back to Florida because I know you miss it. And I think this time around you may find the jackpot. Property's starting to go down just a hair. And I think you might get the cool deal of the year this time around. He's looking for a house now. He's been boondocker for like 5 years at his choice. And this man's very successful and worked in construction and all that and had his own company and owned his own house. And one day he just kind of threw up his hands and said, I'm done. And jumped in the car and traveled. So that was where I saw you on the channel, J&B in the Hills, I believe. I don't know. I'm all over the place on the internet. One thing, if you have a channel, the best thing you can do is help others. And you any vlog you see, you always want to throw a comment in because it's really good for the analytics for YouTube, for the YouTuber. And so I never leave a vlog without a comment. And about 98% of my comments are positive and some are not so positive because I do give my honest opinion. But you know, you want to do that kindness for the people that have the channel because it helps them so much. You know, you want to cheer on when they're doing a live and stuff like that. And because it really helps them. And so that's what I do. I would never leave watching a vlog on YouTube without making a comment to help the creator. Because we're rated on all that stuff, on the thumbs up and the comments and the shares and all that stuff. We're rated for that, and it helps to get our word out to the people. We go way up in the scale. We get more watches, and you know, we get paid for, you know, our views. And so it really helps, especially if you're trying to get the word out for anything in particular to people. It helps get that vlog out all over the place above other people. And so yeah, I'm just kind of all over. YouTube's great. That stuff's better than TV. If you don't have a Roku, you better go get one. BB's Adventures. Oh yeah, those are good friends of mine. And you know, we all met on YouTube. And then they came up to Destin. I started by emailing her, and then gave her my phone numbers and stuff, mine and my daughter's, and we got to be good friends. And then they decided to come up to Destin, all the way from the Tampa area, and that was so much fun. He is a real character, and she's just a doll. Baby is really neat people. And If you guys don't know their channel, it's Baby's Adventures. And they're out of the Tampa, Florida area. And he's actually from Jersey. You can tell pretty much by his accent. I don't know if you've ever seen any of the vlogs. Only on a few of vlogs he's actually been present to be on camera. He normally doesn't do, the camera thing. It's all on BB because he made that channel for her. And so he's probably like around 6 foot tall, a little bit portly. He is Latin and all Latin background family. I believe he's Puerto Rican, and he is the funniest character. Now, we also, when we went down to Tampa area and Orlando, my daughter and I, we went to, I think it was the trip that we went to the big arcade event at the hotel down there, Free Play. They hold it every year. I think it's around like October, November. You buy tickets to it, or you buy tickets when you get there. They have some really good deals. It's well worth paying for the hotel and everything. And so it's cool seeing my face and I have a face to match the voice. Well, maybe and maybe not. Um, I'm not really one to be on camera because I was in show business for so many years, and it's kind of a different platform. It's all floor show, and so I guess the reason I don't normally go on camera too much is because I don't want to put on show for you. I want you to see the real me, and hear the real me. And I try to give some nice picturesque views. Although this one's not that picturesque, but it shows my work. I sew. I've done that for a million years. I dress entertainers of all sorts, and wait staff, and bands, and wrestlers, and all that kind of stuff for many, many years. But yeah, we went down that way, and then they invited us to stay at their house, and we stayed over there a few days. Lovely home, and he was quiet all the time we were there. He rarely said a word. I was like, wow. So he's real different at home. And Baby and I spent a lot of time together talking and stuff, and she told me a lot of interesting lifetime experiences, and she's been through some things. I'll just say that she's been through some things. She's such a sweet, charming person. We took her out one day to go do the car show because he had another commitment, and we went and I did a bunch of vlogs of the Lake Mirror car show there. But we had brought her in my car, and then all of a sudden she, I guess, got really bored because my daughter's like, BB wants to go. And I was like, no, I've got to go to the other building and vlog those. And I brought extra batteries. I brought tons of chips. And I was just vlogging away and interviewing people that had cars. It was so much fun. We had a blast, and it's put on by the Mid-Florida Bank. And it was just too much fun. But we had to leave, and 'cause she wanted to go, and we went by McGongle's, and I got her a mocha frappe. And we had really a blast. We enjoyed spending time at their house. They were very cordial and gracious to us. They gave us our own room, and just really nice, peaceful place. I love the area. I love that place they live at. I would love to live in that area. It seemed quite nice. They were really sweet people, and it was so funny. It was before she wrecked her car. Well, both cars got wrecked, but the one got totaled out, and it was her love. And it's nothing until you see that car in person. He has done like all the work on it, and putting lighting in the engine and the inside and all kind of stuff. She loves purple. If you ever send her something, they have a mailing address in Kathleen, Florida, on their channel. If you ever send her something, make sure it's purple. She really likes purple. And then there's one sports team she really likes. They have a bathroom in the house that's all decorated in her favorite sports team. It is so funny. And now immediately we thought that was him. And he's like, oh no, I did that for BB. And it's like, really? And they're just really neat people. I like wrestling, even rewatching the old ones like Andre and Hulk Hogan and all the legends. Yeah, all that stuff was for show. I will promise you that. I was married to an Olympic power lifter for several years. And all those people were like our friends. And I knew Joe Gold, I knew Zabo, I knew Arnold. Um, Arnold was really sweet. He didn't even speak much English back then. And at first he started by walking around with a backpack, and the next he had a bicycle, and next he had a Harley. We saw him the day he went down to go buy his first Harley. And that's another interesting story. But I've known all the greats. Jerry Whirling, Bill Pettis was a very, very, very dear friend, just as Jerry Whirling. Jerry Whirling's still alive, and he still goes to the weight pen in Venice. He lives right next to the weight pen. As a matter of fact, pays gigantic rent. Um, but I talk to him from time to time. He's a super cool dude. But I was real young back then, and some of the guys have passed on, and some of them are very, very much older. Um, but I've known many, many of the greats as friends, as personal friends, and they're just regular, neat people. Um, they just really are. And especially if you're hanging around with them like 4 to 8 hours pumping iron right next to them. They're just regular, neat people. They're just like me and you. It's just their hobby is physical health. And then a lot of them do it for the money, to get into competitions and make money. Not so much the fame, the money, because that's how they support themselves. It takes a lot to support a weightlifter. It's like supporting a 700-pound man. They have to have a lot of vitamins and a lot of different foods and their clothes, and it's just very costly. Trust me. But they're neat. They're neat. Sylvester Stallone, he's very nice. Sly's very nice. He's getting really older now. I don't know how much more he'll be around. Actually, his kids are good looking, aren't they? But they mess with him terrible. Um, the photographers and all that chase him down and everything. They do the same thing to Arnold, and that's just rude. It's not even necessary. But those guys will always be around Venice Beach and stuff, and you don't have to rush on them and be a butthead. You can photograph and film them all day long, just walking by or something. But they have laws in California about vlogging people. It's like against the law. It's real strange. So you have to be careful. It's better really to, try to, arrange with them to do it or ask their permission. And usually they're pretty cool. They'll be like your best friend, shake hands with you, all that, otherwise you're going to piss them off. Just like anybody else. I don't want some joker just filming me, you not asking permission. Um, but yeah, that was a great time in my life to know all those people and be around them every day and have them as great friends. When I grew up in California, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Neat, neat, neat people. Um, when you're in California, there's a lot of famous people that live there. Yes, they go into the local grocery store. They're eating at the place you're eating at, or whatever, and you don't want to rush them. You don't want to jump on them real hard. It's better to get introduced to them by somebody you know. That's way better, and you would be surprised what great people they really are. Um, but I know what fame is like. It used to be hard for me to go out in public just to get a burger at a burger joint. It was like horrible, just horrible. I could not stand going out in public, and uh, it just was like, is there anywhere in the world I can go where somebody does not know me? Um, there's a lot of history to that. I was a billboard girl. I was a Vegas showgirl, a lot of things, and um, people knew who I was. Matter of fact, I was working in a club I heard Marlon Brando disliked Burt Reynolds. I don't know. There's reasons for all that stuff. Um, Burt Reynolds was very big, like in the 70s. He was lucky he got some good hits. But he's deceased now. He was living in Florida, and he'd already sold all his property off. He was living on property he didn't even own when he died. But yeah, uh, life is interesting as you go along. Um, I did my time in fame. um, I don't know if I really miss it or not. It sometimes was more trouble than it was worth, and it's a little bit of a dangerous life when you get stalkers and things. I went through some very scary points in my life, and I was very watchful. It's like you literally have to, drive with all mirrors, watch when you get out of the car. You have to be very aware of your surroundings at all times. Be careful what you say to, customers or strangers because, you know, they'll stalk you. And it can be very, very dangerous. Especially, in my younger days, it was ultra dangerous. Then you had to hire a security guard to take you to work in your own car. You did not want to be driving by yourself and leave your car in a parking lot or whatever. Or it might have been Bert looking like him. Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't think. To me, Marlon Brando and Burt Reynolds don't look alike at all. Um, but I like Burt Reynolds because he's just plain funny. Um, and the combo of Jackie Gleason and Burt Reynolds in those trucking movies and all that were pretty wild. Jackie Gleason was a great favorite of mine. I don't know if you saw like the last movie he made, one of the last movies he made before he left, and he did a big pool shark gig down on the boardwalk. I think it was in New Jersey at the actual place with has all the names of the stuff on the Monopoly game, the boardwalk at Park Place and all that. I guess maybe it's Atlantic City. And they did a big pool shoot there. It was Jackie Gleason, if you didn't know it, was an incredible pool shoot, and he was amazing, absolutely amazing. If you ever get a chance, look on the internet for his videos of him shooting pool. This man was iconic, absolutely incredible. Yeah, I knew someone was friends with Burt. He showed me his Burt Reynolds ranch jacket. Huh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, you run across them all day long when if you grew up in California like I did, and it's just nothing. I mean, I worked in bars and served very famous people. There was one guy, God, he was the king of the buttheads. I'm trying to think of his name, old timey actor, and he was the absolute worst to wait on. Oh my gosh! I mean, he tipped good, but he was like a pit snake sitting at the bar. It was like you were always polite and short with him. You didn't bug him. He didn't like to be talked to, and you just didn't bug him because he might bite like a pit snake. He drank gin all the time. And oh, he only drank at like two bars in Santa Monica. The bar I worked at and another bar down on the corner by Santa Monica Pier. I think it was the Bellevue Hotel bar. I'm thinking. Um, and a friend of mine, Al, used to work over there, and he was a character. He was a dinner house type bartender. He was funny, and the bar that I worked in was just neighborhood club. It was 42 stools. It was pretty decent, but he was also a personal bodyguard for Frank Sinatra. Who, Burt Reynolds? I didn't know about that. I never heard about that. Um, I wanted to go to Sinatra's last concert, and my banker called, and I said, we really need to go and see the concert for sure. And we wanted to go, and we could not get tickets. And then he died right after that. They said that concert was just sorry. But his age was really messing him up. But I would have loved to have seen him at least one time. He was the kind of singer that just talked. He was so classy, all he had to do was talk his songs, and there weren't many people that did that. And he was one of the few. Um, I wouldn't say he was really a singer. I would say he was really good at talking songs. But I'd had all his albums at one point in time and lost all those in storages that were stolen. Oh, the guy who showed you the jacket was also pics of him with Frank. Well, that's cool. Yeah. Sometimes you're lucky to get pictures with him. They're used to having people pay them for that stuff, so it's kind of hard to get a picture with somebody famous. My dad, we used to walk with my dad when I was a kid up in Santa Monica. You had to park miles away from everything to get something, and we were going to lunch, and we were walking on the way to lunch, and Elvira walked across the front of us. It was really funny, and Elvira she looked like BB in real life, the short and the curly red hair, and real thin, and but the only thing is that Elvira was very flat chested, and when they put her in her outfit and everything, that witchy looking outfit, they had a push up bra on her and pads, and they put a wig on her and all that stuff, and she just looked outrageous. But she just looked just like BB in real life. It was too funny. So she was lucky because nobody would know who she was when she walked in public, so she could go anywhere at any time. People didn't bother because she didn't look like her image. But people would walk up to my dad and ask him for his autograph, and they would always think that he was um, Paul Newman or Robert Redford. And my dad would sign the paper with their name on it. It was so funny. I'm like, why are you doing that? Because my dad is not like a liar or anything. And uh, it was just comical. And he's like, well, I just made somebody's day. That's all. And I'm like, what? And it was just too funny. But uh, yeah, my dad's Southern, and he has a kind of corny kind of sense of humor, and but brilliant man, 100% brilliant. But it happens. Um, I was with my boyfriend Ronald Fournier, and he was building a house out on it wasn't on Highway 1. It was just above that in Santa Monica, and goes up around the curve, and curves to the right. I can't think of that street, that main drag. And they were building a house over there, and it was right next to like two houses down from the guy that did I think it was one of the airplane movies or something, the tall gray headed guy. I can't think his name. And he was jogging right by the house, and I'm like, oh man. And Ron used to get so mad because I was like, he was like, you like him? I said, oh, dude, I'd be so gone from you. I mean, that guy, he was good looking. Oh my gosh. And but I mean, you just see them all over. It's just they're just people. Uh, when I worked for my father for many years when I was real young at his corporate, we catered to all the stars. All kinds of stars and all kinds of very famous people. Buckminster Fuller was one of them. And Buck was tremendous. Oh my gosh, my dad used to do cassette tapes of him. Every time he did a lesson with him, he would record him because Buck would talk. He was just outrageously intelligent. If you ever get a chance, get some of his books, Buckminster Fuller. And he's passed on. He passed on in the 70s. But get any of his books. He was inventor of the geodesic dome, the first electric car, all kinds of stuff. And this man is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Really sweet. And he adored my father, and he paid my father like $100 a half hour or hour for personal instruction in sailing. And did a lot of time with my dad. And he was quite elderly at that time, Mr. Fuller, but great guy. I mean, I had the wonderful honor to go on the boat with him too, a couple times in private instruction, and I was really young. And this guy was just unreal intelligent. Thank you for the 3 thumbs up. I love you guys. And but yeah, you run across a lot of famous people. It's just normal in California. The guy that was in Bewitched, they used to laugh real funny. He used to go ha 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 ha, and he was Uncle something, and he always had all the big ruffles on his sleeves, and And he had the big ruffly hair. What was it? Rip Torn or something. One of them. And that guy, he came to my bar. He was doing a show in the Santa Monica Mall, the old Santa Monica Mall, before they tore it down. And he walked into my bar and he had the tux on with the ruffles and all that. And I about passed out. And the guy I was with was so jealous of him. This guy was so enchanting. And I mean, he was tipping me like 50s for every drink. And he just stayed a short bit. And he just reeked of charm, you know, and that accent. Woo! But yeah. I'm trying to think if that was his name, Rip Torn, or what it was. The guy that did Bewitched, that was Samantha's uncle. And he used to come in like in a bomber jacket and all kinds of funny stuff. And that's the guy right there. He is just enchanting. He used to work in this at the Santa Monica, I think it was called the Playhouse down in the old Santa Monica Mall. And they would do plays and stuff in there and skits. That was a real popular thing in California. There was lots of little playhouses where people would do, plays and skits or perform and stuff like that. So that was a real big thing back then. So not only were these people movie stars, they would also do just plays and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, it's like seeing a video of Michael Jackson having to grocery shop with the store closed and paid people so the store wasn't empty all the way. Yeah, it's so sad. You just can't stay inside all the time. And the biggest problem is people will creep out in front of your house and hang out and take parts of your car, parts of your clothes. I had a guy steal my panties on stage one time. I was pissed. And they'll take that stuff and sell it. Uh the outfit I was wearing was covered in rhinestones and it was big money. And I had an outfit with a lot of different pieces to it. It was a Dallas Cowboy outfit. And this joker took one of the most expensive pieces of the outfit. And I had like 5 panties to it with shorts and 2 skirts. And it was like 27-piece outfit. And this joker, reached over the stage and grabbed it. And I, knew it was missing. And I went all around the stage and I went and asked the guy several times to please give me my outfit back. And it was horrible. But I had to call security and everything. They got it back from him finally. But, that was like really bad. But yeah, I knew a guy at Joe's gym, Joe Gold at the World Gym. And there was a guy that we all kind of knew. Kind of Poindexter geeky looking guy, the glasses, the whole thing, duffel bag kind of thing. And he would go into the gym, and while people were working out, he would go in the locker room and he would pick up clothes. I didn't care if they're dirty panties, whatever it was, socks, whatever he could get, but mostly panties. And he would sell them, to people. Yeah, he would sell them. And so, I mean, it was pretty pitiful, but he made a great living doing it. But it's like, dude, really? Yeah. So that's why you always want to, if you go to gyms or whatever, bring a lock your stuff up in a locker, because Joker would be freaking stealing it. They'd be selling it, especially used panties. That's a very popular thing today. It's hard to sell them on the internet. There's only a few places that will accept that, but they sell for big money. Okay. I was going to do used pennies, and a doctor friend of mine goes, for that kind of money? He said, man, tell me where to sign up. I'll give you a bunch of used pennies. That's so much fun. Too funny, too funny, too funny. But, yeah. I get people on my website that want me to wear shoes before I sell them to them. Will you like wear them till you ship them? And it's like, no. Those kind of shoes are extra charge anyway. So, I think Samantha's uncle on Bewitched is Arthur Paul Lynde. No, it wasn't Paul Lynde. Paul Lynde was the gay guy. And Paul Lynde was a riot. He was so funny, incredibly funny guy, and his death was a pure shame. It was the other guy, the guy that had the curly dark hair, and he would fly in there, and he'd have like a World War II, bomber jacket on, and the tall riding boots and all that stuff, like he just got off a fighter plane. And he would come in different stuff all the time, or big long cape. And he had, the English accent. That guy. He was a little bit portly. It was that guy. Man, when that guy walked in my bar, I about melted. I was like, whoa. It was just, I mean, the world stopped when he walked in. Yeah. I'm trying to think of that other guy that was so mean. And he was a big time actor that people really liked, but this guy was king of the buttheads. The guy that drank gin, I'm trying to think of his darn name. It's been years. Um, oh, he was so mean, this guy. I'll probably think of it in a minute. And the guy I was with really liked that one actor. He thought he was pretty awesome. And I'm like, this guy's a jerk in real life, though. There was a lot of them that were jerks. I mean, Johnny Carson was the cream of the crop. But let me tell you what, when he was in the bars, he was a jerk face. I mean, he's lucky he didn't get shot. Because when he drank, he did some really stupid, raucous stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The last place I went before I left California, and I made it a point to be there, was to troll the beach in front of Johnny Carson's house. That's right. Yes, I cruised that sucker a few times and hung out over there, hoping he would walk out of the house and I could say hello. Because I just thought he was it, man. That was my love. I adored Johnny Carson. I thought he was just the neatest with his personality and funny and all that. But maybe he wasn't so great in real life. I know that in the bar rooms he was a jerk. He was just really bad news every time he opened his mouth. It really pissed some folks off. But they're not all like that. A lot of them are just regular folks, and all they want to do is go out and be in peace. They don't want 20 people climbing all over them and bugging the crap out of them and jumping up in their face, taking pictures. They don't dig it. And because they're just real people. They just want to be in peace. They don't want to be hanging out in the house all day long just because you want to chase them down and stick a camera in their eyeball. So, yeah, but there's a ton of stars. And then there's a ton of those people that think they're going to be stars. They're like, I'm going to be a famous actor. I'm going to be a famous singer. My band will be famous. Well, good luck. Those are all the dreamers. And, you've got to do something other than that to, make it in life out there. It's a fast lane and things are expensive even back then. Dream all you want, but I'm telling you, when that's all you want to do and refuse to do anything else, you will be like my cousin Mike. When we went to see him, when he was so proud he got his first apartment, got it in Hollywood. Hell, he lived there a year, and we went over there, and all he had was a beanbag and a joint in his hand, and couldn't even get any work. And he was like, really? Because he refused to do anything unless it was acting. But he had to live in Hollywood so he could be a star. Hollywood's a dump. Okay? Hollywood's not even a cool place to go. Okay? There's some really neat places to go in California. It's not Hollywood. Okay? It's Century City. Beverly Hills is okay. Santa Monica's awesome. Marina Del Rey's awesome. San Diego's pretty cool. San Francisco's really neat. There's some great places to go. And some of those stuff is just not that great. But Hollywood's nasty poopy-doo. The only thing good about Hollywood is Frederick's of Hollywood and Sinatra's house next to it. Okay? That's the only thing good about Hollywood. Plus it's pretty funny to see the hookers and the tricks walking up and down the street. The girls that work, they're pretty intriguing when you watch all that stuff. And they're walking right across the front of Frederick's. Frederick's shoes? All the hookers buy Frederick's shoes. You know why? Because they're street walking and they need durable shoes. And Frederick's makes the finest shoes. They last just forever. And I used to sell a lot of Frederick's shoes. Frederick's is my favorite place to go, man. Oh, I loved the Frederick's of Hollywood. They have beautiful clothing, beautiful shoes. I mean, real clothes. Real clothes like pants and tops and stuff like that. And really gorgeous shoes. And boots. Oh, yeah. I saw an interview of Johnny Carson. He refused to at first and started to leave, but then he agreed to. Well, because people get sick of it. They probably, bombarded him and threw a camera up in his face, and he's probably thoroughly pissed. Other than the fact he gets paid a lot of money, huge money. When he was doing all the Tonight shows and took over for Jack Parr, who I kind of thought they already thought the world out of Jack Parr, and I just didn't think Jack Parr was that great. Um, and I've seen some of his shows. I just wasn't that thrilled. Now Johnny Carson was a whole different story, and then that one guy that used to help him, Jay Leno. I thought Jay Leno was duller than crap. I just didn't have a use in the world for Jay Leno. But I'll tell you who the one that really did so much like Johnny Carson is the Scottish guy. Um, I didn't even know that he existed because I'm just not a TV watcher or movie goer. Um, is what is that guy's name? The Scottish guy, and his show already ended. It was like the Late Late Show with it's not Conan, it's the other guy, the Scottish guy, funnier than all hell. They did all the horsey stuff and everything. Yeah, I heard horror stories about Hollywood's sad. Yeah, they had a camera in his face, right, and pulling him. Oh yeah, that's some bull crap. That was done on the lot by his where they film his TV show, and I think that's a lot of the reason he had different cars was so people didn't know. He was also one that helped finance DeLorean, which that was a big thing. I remember when I was getting ready to leave California, it was like the choice of save my money or buy a DeLorean, and I wished I'd have bought the DeLorean. They were dirt cheap. They were like 6K. I had gone by the office, and on the office door it had, a printout paper, Xerox paper. It was like we were selling DeLoreans for like 6,000, and I was like, oh man, and I should have bought one. The first edition of them were kind of crappy mechanically, but as they went on, they got better. And some people have actually changed the whole engines out in them and stuff. They're not a real fast car. They're just a really cool car. If you ever, you know, got, within inches of one, I walked around many, trust me. Many, many in my lifetime. We used to see them all the time in California. And they're just breathtaking. Oh, I would so love to have a DeLorean. They are just a charming, charming car. Now, I've never driven one. Maybe it's a piece of caca. I don't know. But I would love to have a stick shift DeLorean all day long. Yes, sir. All day long. Um, they're just super neat. They kind of look like a Pontiac Fiero, which that was a pile of crap car, the Fiero. Boy, was that a loser. Really, 100% loser. Um, but oh, they're so neat. They're kind of like a Fiero and kind of like a Pantera. But yeah, yeah. But California, I mean, it was an super place. I always loved California. I don't now. I don't know what you could do to make me go back. My brother wants me to go back and offer me a house and everything. I'm like, I just hate it. I mean, it's a big freebie. I could go back, but I just really don't prefer to. Yeah, his card in that bit was the vet. Are you sure it was a yellow one? Because he had a white Corvette. I mean, it could have been, but normally I don't think Johnny Carson would have a yellow vet. Let me tell you what the sign of yellow is in California. Fag. Very, very popular in San Francisco in all the gays. They had a lot of the gays that were up there doing parades and all kinds of stuff, and stomping for the gay rights and all this stuff. And they like yellow very, very much. They have yellow shoes. They have yellow cars, yellow houses. It's just yellow is the thing. In the 80s and 90s for the gays, it was red, white, and blue flag. That was the real thing. And then it progressed into something that became rainbows. They like rainbows. That like means gay. But yellow is a very terrible color. It represents gay. I can't imagine Johnny Carson having a yellow vet. But I mean, he might have. Um, he had DeLorean. DeLorean gave him like the gold edition. DeLorean, the sucker wouldn't run. It broke down on him twice, and he was locked into the car on the expressway on the 405. And um, it was not a good thing. Not a good thing. Yeah. Um, he could not get out of the car, and it was having, what the problem was, it was having battery problems. It just did not have enough power to power the car and the doors and all that stuff, because the doors are electric. And that's why he was locked in the car. He could not get out, and he said, "Never again. I'm so done." Um, and he was a big investor. Yeah, he sure was. He was a big investor in DeLorean. It's too funny. But yeah, I wouldn't mind having that gold edition one now, even though it was like a first edition. They only did a few of them. And um, but there's a guy that's brought DeLorean back in Florida and Texas, and they're redesigning a lot of parts. Most of the molds were dropped in the middle of the ocean because they didn't want any more DeLoreans printed. That's how pissed off they were. Um, but this guy's, building them, selling them used, and they're getting ready to build them new, and they're getting ready to build an electric DeLorean. The guys had a lot of trouble trying to sell them on his lots because, the United States really didn't want crap to do with them, and they were trying to stop him from doing it. But he's doing it. He's doing it. If you look him up on the internet, you'll see him. He does some YouTube vlogs, and they're very nice, and he has a great accent. Yeah, it's going to be Brazil. Oh, yeah, something. Let's see if I can bring that back up. I can't. I don't know why that is where you can't bring that up. I have really good internet with my new little toy thing, my smokestack. It is so great. Let me tell you how fast it uploads my vlogs. It's so nice. I love it. And I am operating on it right now, doing this live. And it's smooth. I don't think it's cutting out or anything. I can't see it doing it. It's super smooth, But, I mean, again, the only thing I have running on it is this right now. I haven't started with my computer or anything else. But I think it takes like 15 components you can load onto it. But let me go see what my power strength is on this. Hang, I'll go look at it. I've got to show you guys what it does. It has a light up on the top, and all you do is touch it in that circle. And then it will tell you your connection and stuff. So it stays all the time at like 90%. So, I probably need to update it again because it does this little update when you start it up. And I probably need to do that again, make sure everything's in there that needs to be in there. But it is so cool. Really it is. And nobody can piggyback on it. They have to have a password to piggyback on it. So that's another neat thing too. But I'm happy with it. I'm unhappy still about that mobile unit, and that's going to be Monday before we probably hear anything more. Might hear something today. The manager gets back in town today. Is the stream smooth? Oh yeah, it was white. Yeah, that probably was an old film, and they videoed it. That's very possible. They had a big fire out in Burbank and burned a ton of stuff. And so a lot of stuff was smoke damage too. And they might have reproduced it, and that's what they got. It was old looking because it was probably smoke damaged or something. But yeah, I think the only vet he had was white at one time, and that was like in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was in the 70s. But yeah, poor Carson. He was a coker and a drinker and all that, and then he got cancer real bad, and he just married another wife, a beautiful blonde lady, and she was the one that ended up living at the house on the beach. His house on the beach is tremendous. I think it was up for sale not long ago. It was really neat. He liked playing the drums and stuff, so he had one room with all his drums and stuff, and he used to do that. And then he used to rehearse a lot of his stuff at home in the mirror, and then he wrote jokes for other people, other famous people, to use in their lines and stuff. That was interesting to know. Like a script writer. It was cool on the film. He played. Oh, did he? Yeah, he was into drums. That was a thing. He really dug that, and I don't know why he didn't do that on the set. I have probably watched every Johnny Carson ever made, and I don't recall seeing him play drums or anything like that. It would have been neat if we could have known that side. Now, he had done, I think it was like a movie or something of growing up in like Idaho or some crap, wherever he was from, and the school he went to, and the teacher he had, and where his parents lived, and the car they had, and all that. And that was really neat. That was super neat. I don't if you've never seen it, you need to see it. It was really cool, and he, like narrate the whole thing. It was really neat. Um, yeah, and he went to one of the old houses they lived in, and the people were there that were now living there, and visited with the people and the kids and stuff. It was really sweet, really impressive. But yeah, he was a character. But his alcohol days, he was like the jerk of Malibu and Santa Monica, from what they say. They say he was really a butt. A few actors, I've heard them on some shows where they said, well, Johnny Carson said this about my girlfriend or my wife, and reached over and grabbed her in the coochie or some crazy crap. I mean, he did crazy stuff when he drank. That, I mean, he deserved to get freaking knocked out and stuff. And there was one star that leaned over and told him and said, look, man, I'm going to clock you if you don't quit. And Johnny just felt like he had so much power that nobody would touch him and all that. And that's the way he was. He was like so bulletproof when he drank. And I mean, most people didn't care for him. There's a few actors that have been like that. They're just total butts in public. I wish I could think of that one guy's name. And he did so many movies, but oh, he was such a jerk, that guy that drank the gin. I can't think of that guy's name. He was an old-timey actor, though. He was like doing war movies or something, drank a lot of those. And I can't think of that guy's name. But he was king of the jerks. You wouldn't know it on film, but in person, he was an alcoholic jerk face. I wish I could think of that guy's name. Yep. I mean, I was really lucky. Only one time he was nice to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, he was like actually nice. Um, you watch. I'll think of it as soon as this vlog ends, right? Wouldn't that be terrible? You start in the next vlog going, oh yeah, that guy. We cool. He played the drums some. Yeah. Oh yeah, he also had asked. The big trick is trying to get the comments. Here it is. Oh yeah, I heard I'd like to be in control on the set, not to be touched on this set while filming. Yeah, oh no, that was his thing. It was like his show, he owned it. He didn't give a damn about anybody else. And in the end he did own it, but at first he was working for them. And so in the end, yeah, he was real funny about his show. It was like him, it was all him or nothing. And if you'll notice, he had like a gap in his teeth in the earlier shows. And then as the shows progressed, he had absolutely beautiful Liberace smile. So obviously he had had all his teeth done. The guy I thought that was quite enchanting was his buddy, um, um, that used to sit next to him all the time, the portly guy. I can't think of his name. And I always thought he was pretty neat. But that guy was always broke. They like mortgaged that guy's house and put it up for sale. And I guess he was a big drinker and threw all his money away. I don't know. His right hand man there. And a lot of the people, they had some interviews with some of the people still alive today that used to work with Johnny Carson, from the band leaders and all that stuff. Um, and they, you know, they did not really like Doc Severinsen and stuff like that. They did not really like Johnny Carson because he was so evil on set. And they really thought he was kind of a jerk. They considered him their friend, but Johnny was a bit crass. But I think that was the liquor talking most of the time. And I'm telling you, that stuff in the coffee cup, I promise you there wasn't any coffee. There was hard liquor. You can bet on that. Yeah, you can 100% bet on that. But, the talk shows were great. Letterman was kind of good. I didn't like Letterman as well as Carson. And then after Carson's show was killed, then, and that was probably because his health was getting so bad. Um, because he left shortly after that. Um, the Letterman was like the next best thing to watch, and I always thought Letterman was kind of doofus. Um, but it was like the only thing to watch. And that other guy, the Scottish guy, what is his name? It's not Conan. The other guy, he was just like Johnny Carson. He was too funny, and I hate they ended his show. The guy, he had that horse on there, and then they do little dances and stuff, and he had that Lammy Pie puppet on there and all that. What was that guy's name? They just ended his show a few years ago. But he was very much like Johnny Carson. I was like, whoa, so cool. We got somebody else like Johnny Carson. When it's late at night and you have nothing else to do, it's great to be able to see something that's worth watching. That you don't have to get involved in. It's not like 4 hours long. That guy is too funny. But that guy's still performing and stuff. He just does a lot of different things. He does plays and interview shows and stuff like that. Does some other stuff. And he's an interesting cat. Really funny. But Jay Leno's car TV show. I do like his car TV show. He's so much better at that than he ever was hosting Johnny Carson. It was like, I want to turn Johnny Carson off for that skunk-haired guy. I was like, this show's going to bite, so just turn it off. I had no interest in watching him host that show. And what was funny was Dean Martin and Sinatra and Sammy Davis and those that would hang out on the show a lot, on Carson's show. Oh, they were so funny. Oh my gosh, they'd be drunker than poop. And they were a damn riot. And it was like Johnny Carson be laughing all day long. Oh, they were so funny when they get on there. It's just comical. The Rat Pack. Yeah, let me tell you what. Dean Martin really did drink. And as a matter of fact, a girlfriend of mine, Kathy, had called me one night. She was bartending out in Century City at this famous bar and restaurant. And she called me up and she said, guess what? And I said, what? She says, Dean Martin is here. I'm like, dude, I'm coming up there. And she says, like, it's a private club. I think it was like Carriage Club or something. And she's like, what's private club? I said, well, you could get me in, can't you? I'll get my car right this minute. I'll drive over there. And I think I was living in Redondo Beach at that time. And so she says, well, I could get you in. And so I hightail it over there, man. And catch the expressway, man. I was gone city. Get out there, walk in the door. I was scared somebody say something or whatever, and she's like, oh no, she's, a member. And I walked up to the bar and I'm like talking to her, and there's like nobody else in this whole club but like Dean Martin, back in the corner bush. She goes, that's where he sits all the time. And then, he was still married at that time. And she says, I said, but there's a lady with him. I said, so he has his wife with him, man. Dude, why did you even, like, and she was like, well, that's not his wife. Like, what do you mean? And she was like, he brings a different girl in, all the time. And it's like, what the hell? So I was like, darn, I just want to sit next to him and have a couple toddies, man. I thought the guy was way cool. And, but yeah, it didn't happen. I just stood at the bar and kind of looked a lot. She even gave me a free drink, back in my drinking days. She even gave me a free drink. But yeah. So, well, gee whiz. But, yeah, I wish I could think of that Scottish guy that had that late night show. I wish I could remember that actor's name. You watch, as soon as I turn the vlog off, I remember that actor's name. Yeah. I'm still trying to think of it. I can't think of it. But, so how are you doing today? You doing good today? Yeah, Carson was definitely a trip. Definitely a trip. Some beautiful places back home. There really are. And everything's like 1 million and up. You know, when I was a kid, 1 million was lots of money. It was like dream money. Like, oh, for $1 million. And over there, it's reality now. Any piece of land is at least $1 million. It's really true. It's fact. But there's other places in the world you don't have to pay $1 million to start to get a house. It's just California. Just everything's so expensive, and even when I left there was too many people there. It was just too expensive. It was not the place to raise children. Not safe at all. There was people kidnapping them all day long. Just you'd be walking down the street with a stroller and they'd grab your kid up and run, and then they'd be selling it somewhere. Um, it just was not a place. Oh yeah, I saw videos of Dean Martin at the bar. He was sitting at the bar where the TV was, and Dean asked him, what did it say? I'm trying to bring it. Here it is. And Dean asked him politely to move and bought him a drink. He still has the bottle. Probably. I don't doubt it. I mean, these people really did come out in public, and pretty much everybody knew who they were. But the restaurants and stuff, they were very protective of the stars. You know where I first saw Robin Williams? Really and truly? Johnny Carson is the one that started Robin Williams. No lie. I saw Robin Williams very often down at Venice Beach by the Sidewalk Cafe, performing on the street there on the walk. The guys that put like the bucket out for money? That's where I saw Robin Williams. And it was a common occurrence. He was a really cool guy. And he was real, and he was really funny. And that's where Carson found him, was on the walk. And he put him on his show, and he became a star after that because he was wild, crazy funny. He just was that way. He was just always funny. But that's where I saw him, and that was just a normal thing. That's before he became famous and everything. It was just a normal thing. I'm not going to tell you everybody on the boardwalk was famous at Venice Beach and Santa Monica Beach and all that, because they weren't. And most of them were homeless, poor people, dirty people, but they had a talent. The black guy with the big long braids and dreads that used to play electric guitar all the time, and he used to dress like he was an Arab or whatever, that joker used to be down on the boardwalk too, on roller skates, playing freaking guitar, and on damn heroin all day long. And it was like we couldn't wait to walk by him because we hated that music. I mean, I grew up out there, and people say, oh, you play guitar? Can you play Stairway to Heaven or Purple Haze? That was like, you were like really it if you could play that. And those were the first two songs I didn't want to learn. Yep. No lie. First two songs I did not want to learn. Because I got tired of hearing people do that. Every time they go out to nightclubs, hey man, play Purple Haze. It's like, shut up. If they could play Purple Haze or Stairway to Heaven, that's probably the only song they could play. God. Yeah. Cheers, folks. Got my cold cappuccino with the whipped cream on top. Yeah. Andy Griffith. Let me tell you about freaking Andy Griffith. And my daughter knows about this. My daughter was about 6, I guess. I was selling on eBay and Amazon, and I was clocking $5K to $7K a week. Selling on those two sites, not counting my own website and another site on eBay. And but my big bulk of sales was Amazon and eBay. And I had bidding sales, and I also had buy it nows. And I was selling porcelain figurines. And a friend of mine had factories for gloves and rubbers. And so he had thousands and thousands and thousands of these porcelain glove forms, and they're all numbered, sized, and all that. And he told me, I went out to his house one time visiting with him, Bill Gates. Bill Gatewood, and I said, those are so cool. He said, hell, I throw them into the lake all the time. He had a lake he was building on his property, digging it out himself. It's so funny. And this guy was like 50 and already retired. Um, and that's another story. But anyway, he's like, I throw them out in the damn lake. And I'm like, no, don't do that. I want them. He says, God, you can have them. Come over here anytime. I was getting trucks off our car lots, and I would go load an entire truck bed up with these suckers and stack them up real carefully. And they were sitting in rotting cardboard boxes because they came out of some of the plants that he had closed. And so thousands of them. And so I would go up there. When somebody offers you something free, keep going back, don't stop. Because what happens, that deal will be over if you don't. And so I was getting those porcelain hands and all that. And so this guy makes a purchase with me, and his name is A. Griffith or something like that. And I'm like, sure. And so I had to ship. I can't remember where I shipped to. It was somewhere in California. I wish I could think of it. And and it was so funny. I shipped a bunch of these out, and it was like one of my first orders shipping that porcelain. And I thought I could just throw a bunch of newspapers in there and put a couple of them in a box, and then do another box and all that. And you can't do that. Those pieces were so heavy, and it didn't work out real well. It's like 1/4 of them were just trash when he got them. And he sent me the nastiest letter and everything, and signature, delivery confirmation, insurance, all that. And so he was thoroughly pissed, and he did not want to do the insurance on it. And I sent the insurance paper with each box. I slipped it in and taped it shut at the post office as I was handing it to the postmaster and paying for it. That way they didn't have to wait on me. They could just do it themselves. Well, he didn't want to do that, and he was really pissy. And I thought, and I asked him one time, are you the real Andy Griffith? And then he sent me a really nasty message back, like, what the hell do you think? And I'm like, gosh, what a jerk face. And he actually really was. I researched it. Him and his son, I guess it was, had opened a like a hunting Army Navy store kind of thing. And they wanted these glove forms to display gloves on. That's why they wanted them. And so, yes, they make terrific displays for jewelry and all kinds of things. And so that's what he wanted them for. And I turned around and I went and, I apologized. And the guy would send me so many nasty emails. And I said, I'll take care of it, if you don't want to file the insurance. And like a dumbbell, guess what I did? I researched some more to learn how to pack better. And I called UPS to see how they pack stuff like that. I gave them, basic weight and all that. And they told me what they'll wrap it in and everything. And I was like, okay. So I went to go get all the stuff, the packing peanuts and all that kind of crap. And so I shipped him some more. And I think I gave him 2 free. But I did it all at my cost, shipping and all. And because he purchased like, I think a dozen of them from me. And so, lost 1/4. They were just trash. And so I sent him, what he lost plus a couple extra to be cool. Hoping this guy would give me a good rating, because eBay is so bad. People will rate you bad for no reason at all, and it will trash you. And then you can't sell, and it just messes you all up. And so I shipped those right away and bought stuff to ship it with and everything, and sent him a message. I just shipped him this day. It should arrive on this day. And he was still nasty. And then when he got them, I sent him a message before that, email before that, saying maybe he had bad temper at times or a bad mood. Hell, he might have been a bad drunk. But yeah, he all of a sudden he sent me a message and says, I got him. And I said, okay, how was everything? Did everything arrive properly? And he was like, yeah, kind of thing, But he was a jerk. And I was kind of surprised because he was kind of, that hero. He was kind of corny Southern, but he was, everybody's like hero. And there was always a lesson to be learned in his show, just like a lot of those shows from back then. And, you know, I kind of thought he was a cool dude, but he was king of the jerks. I'll tell you who was a really neat guy is Ernest Borgnine. I think it was PT 103 was the show on like a Navy boat and then McHale's Navy and all that stuff. That guy, Ernest Borgnine, cool dude, and he just passed away. He was doing YouTube vlogs, traveling in an RV around the states to meet people. It was so cool. It was so cool, and he passed away. I was like so sad. I was like, oh, yeah. He seemed to be a really neat guy. I never met him. Now I did meet the guys from Gilligan's Island. I was the one in the Gilligan's Island, the beginning of Gilligan's Island, sailing that little boat back there. I was just a kid. No, they didn't pay me for it. I just happened to be there. And it was at Long Beach Marina. Okay? In Long Beach. My parents had an academy there. And that's what I did. I sailed since I was newborn and then sailed single-handedly since I was like 3. I had my own boat. And so my parents bought me a flipper, is what they called it, boat flipper, and it was named Little Peg of My Heart. But yeah, both Gilligan and the captain were super super neat people, and we got to visit with them in the years during that show and later. They had restaurants. And my mom would take us to the restaurants and we'd go down there to go eat or whatever. And then we get to go meet them and stuff and talk to them. And they were so nice. Oh my gosh. They were so nice. Really super, super neat people. Just regular old people. Maybe he was older, had a temper times in a bad mood. Oh, wow. I was friends with someone who was a minor character on there. Oh, is that right? Yeah. No, I was just a little bitty kid. I just happened to be sailing there. And when they were filming that, where they'd get ready to leave the marina, I was in Long Beach Marina by the Long Beach Marina Bazaar buildings. That's right. By the bridge. Yep. Yep, 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 yep. Yeah, man, I practically lived there. My parents had a sailing academy there. Big, huge sailing academy there. And that was like my favorite place to be in the whole wide world. I just loved the Long Beach Marina. I love Schultze, the guy who owned the Little Ship's Galley restaurant there. Um, I knew Steve Miller, which was a guy that, a real weird guy, that used to sell. It was Miller Yachts, and he sold sailboats there. He was a real corny dude. I'm sure he's not around anymore. He was in 2 episodes, one black and white and one color. That was really early on too. Because they switched out, which was probably, I think in the 70s they switched out, because that show started in the 60s, I believe. But in the 70s, I think they switched out to color, and then they started doing the movie things. They would do the movie things. Marianne just passed away recently. Ginger's still alive. She's ancient. She's like 80 or something. Um, But they said the most difficult on there was like Ginger. And then the old girl that was, um, um, what's his name's wife? They said she was a little problematic. They had to pay her a lot of money to be on there. Um, she was supposedly some big old famous star before she hit Gilligan's Island, the older lady with the poodle hair. Um, but Yeah, Mary Ann was having a lot of financial problems. Didn't pay taxes or something for several years, and IRS was after her. And then she started selling all her valuables from the show and stuff. And it was like, oh, I wished I had some. He was in 2 episodes. Huge fan of the Duke John Wayne on westerns. Okay, John Wayne. This is another one. Um, the year that John Wayne passed away from cancer. I believe it was cancer he had really bad. He was an avid smoker, and uh, he had a big giant power boat, and we're sailors, so my parents just do not favor power boats. They're called stink pots. And I, to them, they're just no use whatsoever. And so he had a really big power boat, and most of the interior was all wood. There was a big oil painting of him there on the boat on one of the walls. Um, I went on the boat with my daddy, and they had offered it to my father if he wanted to buy it. The only reason my father would have bought that turkey was for resale value. And he uh I remember walking on that boat and seeing it and everything. They just wanted a huge amount of money. This is right after he died. And my dad didn't buy it, and he regretted it because that boat made huge money. God knows how many people it's sold to. Um, and I'm sure it's still around. It's just a big giant power boat. It was like 60 foot or better. It was pretty big. But it was decked out inside pretty nice, But oh well, yeah. hmm Lloyd Bridges walked into my daddy's office when I worked for him in Marina Del Rey, and I about passed out. And I was like 12 or 13, and I was running my dad's front office, and I about passed out. He was like another one of my iconic idols. And when that guy walked in the door, just like anybody else, he was a student of my father's, I about passed out. I was like, and then, he said, I just need to pay, for my class. I said, yes, sir, your name is? And he said, Lloyd Bridges. And I was like, oh, he really is Lloyd Bridges. I was like freaking out. And I'm trying to keep my cool because, my dad's like, don't act real funny when these people come in here because, my, customers are like, Howard Hughes and Hefner and Hefner's kids and stuff. And I mean, there were so many. I mean, you see how so many stars. I went. There's a girl that's way older than me that, she was a friend of mine, and she was on Family Affair. And that was a very sad situation. She had died at a party, that she was giving at her house, and Buffy, yeah. And then I went to the Valley and was going to the movies. And guess who was at the movies? That little curly haired, redheaded kid from Family Affair. And he was older than me. And I was like, wow, my gosh, it's you. And I sat next to him in the movies. He had no girl. And I sat next to him in the movies. He was older than me, but I was like, oh my gosh, it's the kid from Family Affair. And, my dad come pick me up. I'm like, Daddy, like, it's a kid from Family Affair, man. And that was so cool. But, I mean, you run across all those people. One that I wish that I would have gone to see his concerts or whatever is Liberace. I always thought Liberace was kind of a joke, and I swore he was gay, 100%, way back. If you didn't think he was, you were a lost individual, because he was very, very flamboyant, and I mean, he had that gimmick, he had that thing going, and I think it's a shame that he wasn't honest, but I mean, I guess it's okay. He did well, just the way he did it, keeping it all secret, whatever. Um, but I really wished I would have seen Liberace perform. I wished I'd have seen Sinatra perform. Um, I wished I would have seen my uncle perform Johnny Cash. I showed up at like his last concert, and I was like a little late. He was like getting on the bus, and I was like, and I really didn't care for his music that much. Yeah, I believe Duke's Boat, they do tours. Really? Yeah. And it was in Marina Del Rey, right by my dad's sailing school, on Panay Way, when I saw it. They had it on a big end tie because it was so big. And my dad and I went on the boat with the broker and everything. I don't recall it being a family member or anything. And because they had called my dad and asked him if he would be interested. And that's one of the last things on earth my family would want to buy is a big powerboat. But my dad was considering it because of investment purposes. Because John Wayne was a big geek, you know. A lot of people like John Wayne and John Wayne movies. I really didn't care. I saw several of them because I had to watch them with other people, like my grandpa and stuff. But um, I mean, he was okay. You know, there was people I thought were way better than him. The one that was bad was that creepy guy, the dark-headed guy that did the really creepy cowboy movies. I can't think of his name. Oh, he did some creepy stuff, that guy. I saw a video of a guy touring. I saw the pictures and talking about a nice boat. I also think his wife Pilar painted him. Yeah, it could have been. But there was a very beautiful, like 2 foot, 2 foot by 2 foot big oil painting on the wood wall facing the stern on the inside of that big powerboat. Uh, it was like an old painting, like from True Grit or something. That's what it looked like. Um, that cancer got him pretty bad. He was an avid smoker. A big man. That was no little dude. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. But you see famous people all the time. Hell, I worked at casinos, and it was ZZ Top came in one night, and everybody was going crazy. And I was a server in the restaurant. And like, ZZ Top's out there. I'm like, so? And went out there, and they were really nice. They kept calling me over to their table to say hi. I didn't want to bug them, And then finally, I went over there and talked to them a couple of times. They were just really sweet. And then I asked the one guy, I said, are you guys really like ZZ Top? And got real close to him and asked him because I didn't want everybody in the restaurant to jump and run or something. I saw somewhere he smoked 3 to 5 packs a day. Probably my youngest daughter's dad does that. Done it for years. But and his health is really bad. Yeah, and the guy goes, yeah, as a matter of fact, I am. And I said, man, I would so love getting a signature for my son and everything. He goes, I'll be right back. And then he left for a little bit, and I thought, he's never coming back. And they were hanging out for the longest time in the dinner house. He came back and had a photograph and signed it for me right there and dated it to Kevin and everything. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that was the neatest thing. And he's like, is that all? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, this guy was charming. I didn't care about ZZ Top and all the crap. But this guy was really nice. Very, very nice. And he kept joking with me and stuff. I wasn't even waiting on his table. And he was so funny. He kept calling me over there. They had to be up there for a couple hours. He was just tired of being out on the gaming floor. He just wanted to hang out. Just a character. But yeah, you see a lot of famous people. And they're just like me and you, pretty much, First time that I met Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was an asshole. I won't lie. And then after that, he was my dearest, 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 dearest friend. One of them passed away, Dusty Hill. Are you talking about Benny Hill? Benny Hill was kind of, I think, before my time. I did have a boyfriend who used to watch him all the time. That was out of England. It was kind of very dry humor. But we need to do this soon. I've had this laying around for at least a week. I totally, don't have time. I see it every day, and I'm like, I need to do that. I don't like the scratch off cards that great because I can make so much more money at a casino than I can off of that. But I mean, I've hit them a million times. Really have. A million times. I'm just like the original Lady Luck. Trust me. But yeah, that's it. The stars are pretty interesting. The sad part about it is a lot of them get on the drinking and the drugs, and that's where they exit out. And it's so sad. It's a hard life. I know. I've been through it. Thank God I didn't do like all the drinking and drugs and have to go to rehab or some crazy crap. But it's really hard because you never hide. like I say, you can't go out in public and have a hamburger. People just drive you crazy. And sometimes you just want peace, you know? You don't want people all over you. Matter of fact, I was working at a club one night, and a kid was in there, and he was talking back and forth to his dad, and he's like, my daddy used to see you do shows. And I'm like, who's your dad? And then when he told me, I'm like, what? And he's like, my daddy admires you so much. He's like, can I get a dance with you? Can I get a picture with you? And I never did pictures with customers. And so I told him I would do one with clothes on and everything. And no racy crap. And take a picture with him in the lobby of the place. And I said, and do not sell the picture or anything else. And tell your daddy hi and give him my love. And so we did the picture, and this kid was so proud. He's like, oh my gosh, I am so proud. He was just young. Oh my gosh. But it was funny to see people that talked about me, you know, years later, and just thought I was really something, and I'm just a regular person. But I've always put on great shows, trust me, always. But I'm just regular. But yeah, but here I had the dad and the father just adored me. That's pretty funny. But yeah, and everybody wants to be loved all day long. That's right. Make friends, not enemies. Friends are like jewels. Yep. They 100% are. I like to make a new friend every day. But anyway, so it's been a slice of heaven. I got to get back to work, and I got to get this listed so I can sell it and make some money. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful and blessed Sunday. Thanks so much for hanging out. It's been so much fun rapping with you. And hell yeah. You rock. Thanks so much for joining me. I love you so much. You have a super, super day. And do something kind for a stranger, and I'll see you on the next one. That'll be real soon. Love you.